But if you can write like that, email can make you a ton of money and build a lot of goodwill with customers that may not buy now, but they'll buy in the future.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to MacroActive Radio. This series takes you behind the scenes of the secret strategies and hands-on tactics that year after year have produced million-dollar results for an elite movement of influencers, experts, and mentors in the health and wellness industry. Our members are a new breed of influencer who share a common vision, not only for increasing their reach and impact, but also for being unafraid of scaling their lifestyle businesses. Listen and learn and join the movement.
Welcome to the future.
Before I introduce my guest today, I have to preface this interview with, I suppose, an observation. I've gone deep into the operations of hundreds of online fitness businesses and spoken to, I got to say, probably well over 1,000 influencers in this space. And the one thing in common with those who have truly scaled and created that liftoff in terms of growing revenue is they've all operationalized their systems and surrounded themselves with an experienced team. And so it's no surprise then today we're going behind the scenes to talk to one of those team members. Today's guest is Michael Grossman. You may not know his name, but you've probably read one of his emails. I can tell you that. I can almost guarantee that. Michael is the guy behind the guy when it comes to all things wordsmithing and negotiating and a whole list of other tasks for many of the top fitness influencers, from Brandon Carter to Connor Murphy and many others. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Ken, thank you so much for having me, brother.
Cool, man. So walk us through a day in the life. Woo! Sounds like
Sorry. I live next to a police station, so no, I'm saying that they know this podcast is going to be so good that they have to arrest us. But you were asking about a typical day?
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, as you mentioned before, one of the main things I do is copywriting, specifically emails. I mean, I've written sales pages as well, and a lot of the Instagram captions you may see from your favorite fitness influencers, they might have came from me. I really specialize in email copywriting, as well as managing influencers, getting them deals, negotiating affiliate deals. I'm also managed projects, and we do a lot of, me with Brandon Carter specifically, we do a lot of live events. In fact, we just got back from Australia last week where we did an event there. So we travel a lot. Actually, even after that, we were in LA and Miami. So a lot of traveling, a lot of fun, cool events. And man, so between project management, copywriting, affiliate deals, negotiating, managing, and even on the team, I do some human resources in terms of communication, make sure everybody is comfortable with conflict resolution. It keeps my days pretty busy.
That's great. That's great. I'll bet it does. Let's dive into email for this podcast. There's always a flashy new form of communication and tech popping up each year, and it seems each year everyone touts email is dying or now officially dead. So what is it? Walk me through why is it not? Why, or is it? And or why is it still important?
Yeah, man. Spoiler alert. Email is not dead. You may just suck at it. I mean, people say it's dead every year, man. I'm getting tired, honestly, of hearing it. It's a joke at this point. I don't think email will ever be dead, because if you can write in such a way that gets people to respond and laugh and enjoy the email, regardless if they buy or not, you will always have a solid list. And I think that's the mistake most people make is they're so concerned about getting the sale. So if your headline is 10% off, last chance, like, yeah, email's dead. No one's reading that shit. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't want people to feel icky about their inbox. And a lot of us do if we see an email from, oh man, this guy, he's always selling me something. Right. Whereas if you come in really delivering value and making a good point, giving good information, making them laugh, and like the headline is really important. I'll dive in that in a second. But if you can write like that, email can make you a ton of money and build a lot of goodwill with customers that may not buy now, but they'll buy in the future.
Yeah. Oh man, that is so true. I mean, it's the old saying, deliver value. But when I read your emails, they are very conversational. It feels like there's not. It's you've made me laugh out loud. With, I
That
mean,
makes me so happy to hear.
No, I mean, and they're always so. I noticed that the headline, I mean, the subject line and the first line are always quite relevant to stuff's going on. Like something may have happened in the news this afternoon, and tonight's email that comes through from you is and I'll go, oh my God, and I'll open it because I really think that it's, you may not be talking about that news event, but you got me to open it. So walk me through that.
Well, that's the beauty of using, I have different headline categories that I go to. I call it my headline treasure chest. But basically, there's different categories. And what the most powerful one, in my opinion, is recent events. And this, again, if you want to write all your emails a month in advance, this isn't going to work for you. Yeah. I write daily, and there's power in that because you can go on Twitter, this is what I do. I go on Twitter and I see what the silly humans are arguing about, right? And then I go on the Drudge Report, and then I go to BuzzFeed, and because whatever, I just want to see what's buzzing people. And then I write a headline about that, and it just works, man. People open it. Now, you don't want to abuse this, right? You don't want to use clickbait. You actually want to make it something that is relevant to the topic. So a good example, and this isn't an attempt to get political or weird, but this is, I just want to prove my point here. Back when Colin Kaepernick in the NFL, I don't think they have the NFL in New Zealand, but it's, you're American, Ken. But Colin Kaepernick took a knee. He took a knee for the flag, and everybody was going nuts. And I was promoting a keto product, and the headline was what Colin taking a knee has to do with keto.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And that got us a lot of money. But here's how I made it make sense, where it wasn't just ridiculous, was I said, a lot of people, I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but I'm saying, the thing about this Colin taking a knee is that it's controversial. It's very polarizing. A lot of people don't even understand what he's trying to get across here. The same way most people don't know how to do keto properly.
That's all you need. Yeah.
That's all you need to justify the headline. And it's not a lie. But so that's one of the ways I've been able to,
And the thing is you come to know that's happening, and it's still humorous. I mean, what I've found is it strengthens the relationship that you already have with the influencer. So each one of these little bite-sized pieces of interaction just inches you forward in a relationship with the influencer.
Yeah, I mean, like, how would you write an email to a good friend of yours that you wanted to deliver value to? Or how would you write an email? Like, here's the main thing. People are so afraid of, like, the punctuation being perfect and the graphic images in the email. And it's like, none of that matters. You want to write the way the influencer talks. You want to write how you talk. But how do you talk to your friends? How do you talk to people close to you? Like, the reason Brandon's emails or Connor's emails or these other influencers I write for are effective, I am writing the same way they speak in their videos. Yeah, there's really no difference.
You really are. Yep. Now, you may have just answered this, but tips to get past the spam gods.
Yeah, so that's another reason why people say that email is dead, is because now it's actually Google has gotten smarter and more difficult with Gmail to put your emails either in spam or the promotions folder. And one of the ways we avoid this is by making our emails so interesting and engaging that people actually reply to it or say, yo, that was so funny. That made a lot of sense. That way, Google sees, oh, they're actually delivering good messages to these people because they're replying. But another way I kind of dance around it is these Gmail, Yahoo, whatever it is, they're not a big fan of the certain words. They don't like the word free. They don't like the word sale. They don't like the word offer. They don't like the word last chance. They don't like, I even go so as far to be careful with the word product. So anything that could be like buying and salesy, what you can do is like in the word sale, for example, you can make the L in sale like a capital I, right? Like purposely spell it wrong, but make it look the same.
Right.
Or even with the word money, like add a zero for the O, and for the word offer, like change the O to a zero, and free, you can change like make a little star in between the FREE. And yeah, man, I've used that, and it's really worked well in terms of getting in the main inbox. I mean, who knows? Maybe a year from now or in a couple of months, Google gets smart. But up until now, the last 3 years, it's worked really well for me.
That's so interesting. Do you test that before it goes out?
Yeah, I test every email before it goes out.
And how do you test it? Do you use software? Do you just email yourself?
Yeah, I just email myself or one of my one of my emails that aren't associated with the autoresponder.
Gosh, it's so funny. I was talking to the guy behind the guy at Joseph Rakich the other day.
You were talking to yourself?
No. Derry. And I asked him the same thing. He said, oh, yeah, he emails himself. And he said that even the word Fiji, they did that whole event where they rented an island in Fiji, and he said he sent an email and it was in the spam, and then he removed the word Fiji and then it landed in the inbox. He said, okay, all right.
You never know, man. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's got to be crazy. Were you formally trained for this? Did you go to some master class to learn how to do this? Where did this, tell me more about where you got started writing emails.
Yeah, the answer is no. Like I graduated college in 2016. And I was a dual major in international relations and Latin American studies. Literally had nothing to do with business or writing or anything like that. And I kind of just I graduated and I'm like, man, the only jobs I'm qualified for now are like our NGOs. Like, hey, solve the cocaine crisis in Colombia. And I'm like, I can't do that. Pablo already caused too much damage. So basically, I happened to come across Brandon's videos. I was a fan of his, and long story short, convinced him to let me work for him, and I began writing emails for him when the copywriter that we had left the company, and I think the reason I'm good at it is because I've always been a very creative person. Like I was originally a theater major. I was the lead in all my school plays. And even when I did class projects, like if I had any excuse to make a video project or write a rap or like anything like that, I would always do it. Even in cards on Mother's Day or whatever, birthday cards, most people just say, love you, you're the best. Like, not me, man. I'm writing them like a little novel. I'm giving them, I might do a rap. I'm going to make jokes. I want them to keep reading. So I guess in a weird way, I've been training for email my whole life just by wanting to make the cards people read something that they're going to remember.
I love it. It's great. And I did hear you say Valentine's Day. So I'd love to get our hands on one of those.
Yeah, I edited myself out of that one. I didn't want to get in trouble.
I love it. Do you remember the first business email that you ever sent?
I do.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked really well. It's part of the reason I kept doing it. It was called Why I Respect Justin Bieber. And it came from Brandon. And yeah, man, it worked really well. I think we made maybe between $500 and $1,000 off that email. And Brandon was like, "Oh fuck, all right, all right, maybe I should have this kid keep doing it, you know?" And yeah, it's funny to think back that far.
Love it. Love it. When you think back that far, what do you wish you knew now when you first, or what do you wish you knew then that you know now when you were first getting started?
Yeah, it's related to email, but I think it's related to life in general. Whatever skill you're trying to acquire, like maybe you're trying to learn Facebook ads, or yeah, it doesn't even have to be business. Maybe you're trying to learn a skill. Maybe you want to learn how to dance, learn a language, whatever the case may be. Like I would just say, what I wish I would have said to myself is like, respect the process and understand it takes time. Like there was a lot of times where I beat myself up over an email getting like a lower percentage open rate, or didn't make as much money, or maybe I hit the spam folder and I got really pissed and like upset. Whereas like a much better way to approach it, and the way I approach it now, is like, oh, that's interesting. That email didn't make as much and it seemed to hit the spam folder. I wonder why. And be more curious and kinder to yourself about it. Because if you're like really stressed about messing things up, it's going to make things worse. And if you're curious, it's going to make you better. And in general, you learn more from your mistakes than your wins.
I love that curiosity. Let's come back to that in a second. You're talking about respecting the process, and boy, we do that religiously, and it pays off. Do you have a system or a process, or like do you track, do you keep your headlines and track which headlines have previously worked and not worked, or is it just a giant Excel spreadsheet somewhere, or software? Or share some tips in terms of how you systematize that process so you learn from it.
Yeah, tracking is everything. I mean, as you know. But yeah, I'll keep track of what emails convert the best in terms of again, at the end of the day, it's money, right? I care more about I care more about the emails that make money over the ones that get a higher open or
Yep.
higher open rate.
Yep.
So I know what emails have made the most money. I know what emails get the most replies, get the most opens. And yeah, I keep track of it with a spreadsheet. And you know, if I see that an email isn't converting or it's not working, like I just won't use that headline again.
Yeah, gotcha.
I think more importantly is to have variety in your headlines.
Yep.
Like I just want to emphasize this point again. So don't always use recent events.
Right.
Like I've done live presentations on this in different cities, but for example, another one you can play with is numbers. Just for whatever reason, human beings need to know the goddamn number. That's why BuzzFeed are geniuses with like 5 quotes that will blow your mind, or even Cosmopolitan, right? Like 500 ways to please him in bed, you know, which by the way, Ken, I don't know where they're getting these numbers from, because as far as I'm concerned, there's really only 2 things. But the point is, human beings need to know the number, right? So if I did a recent event about keto, maybe the next day I say, you know, 3 reasons why you're not hitting your keto macros, or something like that. The point is, like, I think variety is extremely important in your headlines. Like, don't abuse any one category. And even cooler is when you mix and match, right? 3 reasons why Colin kneeling, you know, is whatever, you know. So yeah, anyway, mix and matching headline categories I have found to be the strongest way to get people to respond and actually buy.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned that you guys do a lot of live events. Is email responsible for driving foot traffic to an event as well, or and is there anything different that you do to with your email marketing to get people to an event, or is it just sort of all the same, deliver value, jab kind of thing?
It's all the same.
Right.
Anything I sell, it's all the same process. And I think people overthink this stuff. They think that they have to be special on Instagram or special on Facebook or special in email. It's not. It's all the same. In fact, you might as well copy and paste. If the email is good, like use it for a caption. If the caption is good, use it for an email. Like get more than one use out of it. Most people aren't going to notice that I used that Brandon used one of my emails as his caption. You know, not everybody that's on your email list is also paying attention to your Instagram. So yeah, I would get the most value. And no, it's all the same. It's all. I mean, it's a combination, obviously, of Facebook ads and emails. But yeah, for the email side of it, it's the same process.
Okay, that's so true. You mentioned curiosity earlier, and I gotta say, consistent curiosity for your craft is what what everyone wants from their employees, from their staff, from their contractors, from their business partners. It's what we're all seeking. What are you most curious about right now?
Well, on the business side, I'm very curious about the future of social media marketing because, it's no secret that YouTube specifically is cracking down on creators, specifically creators that are politically incorrect or lying towards the right,
Wow.
like even like marginally, like if somebody, so that's an interesting thing. Silicon Valley is clearly quite biased in this regard. Same thing with Facebook. They're banning people left and right. And the thing that we should be worried about as marketers, regardless of your political alignment, is that marketing in general has to be politically incorrect. It has to be polarizing. It has to be controversial.
Yeah, exactly.
So if people are in the many chat saying wild stuff the way we are, and by wild I just mean marginally not politically correct, it wouldn't shock me if Facebook just banned a bunch of people's many chats tomorrow, or and that's in danger regardless of the messaging. It could just be like people are abusing this power too much. Too many users are complaining that their Facebook Messenger inbox is filled with spam, right? So, I'm curious what this means for us now that it seems that all these social media platforms are getting a lot stricter regarding the type of content they allow.
Boy, isn't that true? That is so true. Any parting words as we wrap up? Advice, your one piece of advice that you could share with our audience. I will say a lot of the people listening to this don't have their own teams of marketers yet, and are trying to do it all themselves. So maybe with that in context.
Yeah, if you're doing that, that's dumb. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not smart to go after it on your own. In fact, even before you mentioned that, I already knew what my piece of advice was going to be.
Yep.
And my life has gotten significantly better ever since I took out a whiteboard. I put down every skill I wanted to improve in, and I began assigning people to each role. And if I didn't have somebody, I hired somebody, like pay to play, like literally find someone that has what you want, pay them, and then do what they say. And there's a few reasons why this works. One, kind of shows you're not alone in this world, right? There are people out there that want to help you succeed. I mean, even if you're paying someone, they want to help you succeed, obviously, because you're paying them, but also because, as humans, when we give to somebody and we receive from somebody, it gives us a relationship regardless, right? So your coach will be invested in your success. It's also just dumb to try and it takes longer when you try to figure out things on your own. And it's almost like, I have two words for it. It's like having your own board of directors, but more fun way to look at it is having your own Avengers. That's how I look at it. So,
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, exactly. So for just like personal skill sets that I want to build, I have Avengers for my fitness, right? My trainer Daniel, and he's like the Incredible Hulk. I've got Sebastian for dancing, right? And he lives in Spain. And, he's, again, like my progress has accelerated now that I have a coach for these skills. I lost 20 pounds in the last 5 months.
Wow,
and yeah.
Congrats.
And yeah, thank you. And like, I'm making more money. I'm happier. I have more energy. Cool people like Ken want me on their podcast. Like, it's no secret why good things are happening to me. It's because I've become a more attractive and skilled individual, all from simply hiring people for each skill I want to get better at, shutting up and doing what they say.
God,
So
that's sage advice. Sage advice. We have a saying. That, and it's answer the question who, not how. And
right.
It totally applies to what you just said. Any tips for our audience in terms of hiring a copywriter? How do they go about making sure they've got a good one?
Yeah, man. So if you can't get me, no, I'm playing. Good signs to look out for, because every asshole's a copywriter nowadays, and a lot of them aren't good. I would be more interested in the character of the copywriter. I mean, obviously they need to have a skill set, but this is more of like, I guess, for your overall relationship. I'm a relationship guy. Like, I've worked with Ken, and he's an amazing guy, and I don't like to have anybody in my Avengers that I'm not friends with, right? So, and I think there's like, you're almost better served getting somebody who's maybe perhaps not as skilled in copy, that you actually like and enjoy, and if shit hits the fan, you can hit him up and say, I'm sorry about this last minute thing came up. And he says, no problem. I got you, bro.
Yeah,
so
right.
I would recommend that you, in addition to vetting them for their copy, you really make sure you guys, have shared values, shared goals, and feel good about the relationship. In fact, the thing that can accelerate any relationship is to check in with that person once a week if it's important to you. Just to make a feeler, just make sure they're happy and they feel good. So I know this isn't really like, oh, this is the way that you can see their open rates are amazing. What I think is more important, is that you have a good relationship with your copywriter. So I would prioritize that personally.
Especially because they're going to assume your voice too.
Yeah, right? They should know you. They should know you thick and thin.
Right. Love you. Love it, man. Love you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find you on the webs?
Yeah, so I actually, I don't go by Michael Grossman anymore. I mean, that is my name, but people know me as Trillsteen. I was nicknamed that by Brandon. That's another story I won't get into. But you can follow me on Instagram at Trillsteen, TRILLSTEEN. And if you're interested in more of this kind of social media marketing stuff, you can go to trillfocus.com and you'll see some cool stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Mr. Trillsteen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ken. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.